Hello, my name is Steven. I'm here today to talk about the Computer Science 380 project number 3 using the Amazon Web Services. What I have in the background here is the Amazon Web Services dashboard where you have a number of different services that are available in the cloud. Now what the cloud actually is a shared pool of configurable resources that are able to be used amongst many clients or people, organizations at the same time. This particular service actually will allow you to, in this case, run multiple virtual instances of operating systems. What I have running here right now is a Windows Server 2012 and a Ubuntu Linux server. Now with these resources are going to be actually available, like I said, amongst not only myself but multiple users. Now with these resources, they are actually dynamically allocated per the demand upon them. Now some advantages of this is with organizations, as they need more resources, they have those available and they can scale up. And as they don't need them anymore, they can scale them back down so they're not being used as much. Now with the cloud services, they actually are generally on a pay-as-you-go model, meaning as you use the resources, you're charged for the services. Some positive thoughts about this is if you're using a service, you'll get billed for it. If you need more, you can bill for more. But if you're not actually using a particular service, like web hosting, then you aren't going to get the charge if it scales it back. However, if, for instance, you just automatically start out huge and don't need it, you're going to get big bills for that, because it is actually using a lot of resources that you don't really need. Now the services being used here under these servers actually are under the Amazon Web Services free tier, so they're not actually going to charge for the usage that's actually being done here. So it is actually kind of useful to experiment with. Now with this Linux server, I have went ahead and created a sample page here that I'll actually go through. This is just a quick PHP page. It'll give you my name, what date it is. Now this actually is the server time rather than the local time, which is about 4 hours difference. The server is actually located on the West Coast, is the one I actually chose here. Now there's a couple different deployment models you can actually have with the cloud. You can have a private cloud, a public cloud, and there's some others like hybrid cloud, community cloud, distributed cloud, intercloud, and multi-cloud. The only thing we're actually talking about here in this particular project would actually be the private cloud and the public cloud. Now a private cloud is a cloud service, the pool of resources that's solely for the use of a single organization or entity, and it's something that can be internally managed or managed by a third party. It also can be hosted internally or externally. So basically the services you can hire somebody to manage the site. You tell them what you want, what changes, and you can actually have it hosted internally or externally, meaning either you own the hardware or you have somebody like Amazon using the Amazon Web Services to host that. You have to provide the hardware. Now a public cloud is when the services are actually rendered over a network that is open for public use. So if you go to for instance, Portable Apps, the Portable Apps website, this is considered something of a public cloud. It's actually considered an SaaS, system as a service. It is a system that actually allows you to use the portable apps that are set up to actually not have to be installed. Now there are companies around the world actually do use the cloud in many different ways. Google's using it. Google's using for Google Drive. It has the infrastructure as a service. And they're also hosting as platforms as a service and infrastructure as a service for a number of different companies. Best Buy is actually using the Google Cloud Services as a platform, as a service, to host the various apps they have. I believe one of them was a gift tag app that they were using. The cell phone manufacturer HTC is also using Google Web Services as an infrastructure as a service and system as a service. They're using the cloud to host and run their app platforms. Now, some of the difficulties that were actually had with this, setting this up, is that some of the tutorials that I was actually able to find didn't match up exactly with the AWS console, so it takes some adjustments to actually get everything set up. Also, with this, this was actually one of the first times that I've actually used a Linux server, so I actually had to go through and figure out how to do it. This is actually the MobaX term, which is how you actually access the Linux server. You take the IP and access the key here. And it loads up the actual terminal. Here, this is actually the terminal that you would see with the Linux server, and this is how they actually access that. Now, that's the first time I've actually encountered the Linux server. I've mostly used Windows, so it definitely was a challenge to get everything working with that. Alright, thank you.